what's up? The GIF is speaking to you now. I've got a bit of a Da Vinci complex, so I've been getting into hypothetical engineering. I want to explain to you how it's possible to harvest energy from the sun for leverage, all using tools that the ancient Egyptians would have had access to. Let's say you travel back in time and you need to start some kind of solar power generator. We're in ancient Egypt and you're tight with the pharaoh because you memorized where a lot of cool stuff is before you went back in time. And you got a translator. The pharaoh is going to give you anything and everything you might need because you phrased it as though you're a messenger of Ra and need to build a fitting temple. First, you start by building a highly reflective compound parabola, gathering the sun's heat and localizing it all at one point. Next, you craft a Stirling engine and connect it to that heat source. Then you connect the spinning axle of that Stirling engine to a locking winch that raises a weight. Now all the gathered heat from the sun is stored through gravitational potential energy, and you can use this generator to output kinetic energy by lowering the weight. Now let's take this up a notch. Let's say the gravity battery is connected to a magnet that spins along an axle, and that magnet spins in front of another magnet arranged with coils of copper wire. This effectively fuels a dynamo that converts kinetic energy into electromagnetic energy, completing the conversion process from solar heat to electricity. From there, one might wow some ancient Egyptians with a Tesla coil, if one has AC power instead of DC, then task everyone to build an array large enough to fuel your time machine. I'll take us step by step through how I think this works. The sun's heat gathers to a single point. That heat travels to a Stirling engine where air is heated and cooled by piston expansion and a diaphragm moves up and down. That diaphragm connects to a spinning axle that rotates a wheel. That wheel is connected to a locking winch that raises a weight. That weight is connected to an axle that spins a magnet, and that magnet is connected to copper wire that's flooded with electricity. I've been learning engineering in my free time out of sheer boredom, and I think this design might qualify as a DIY solar power generator. If it's novel and original, I'd like to call it the Helio-Hercules. From Helios and Hercules, sun strength, so to speak. In my final design, I'd like to have an array of gravity batteries that are set to switch as one set pulls energy while the other set outputs energy. If one were in ancient Egypt, it might take several years to source the lodestone necessary to fuel the dynamo, though magnetite was in active circulation at the time, like say from Magnesia in Greece. Cleopatra was said to have had a magnetic amulet for spiritual reasons. In theory, one might even make a fridge this way by using a mix of the Peltier effect with a resealable box of lime powder and sawdust, assuming one keeps moisture away from the sawdust. From there, one might even combine all those mechanics with a chamber of ammonia, water, and hydrogen to reach temperatures that could freeze water. With the world feeling like it's entering another dispensation, one many are likely going to consider an apocalypse, I just want to be as ready as I can be for it. I just want to make sure I'm as ready as I can be. Part of it's sheer boredom, but I really do think that electricity is likely to be a scarce commodity one day. If things keep going on as normal, I'd like to streamline a design that's good enough it could be deployed in Africa to fuel water distillation systems. We could boil water with the heat of the sun and collect the condensation in a bowl, then offer that distilled water to the people for them to cook and drink with. We could dramatically lower how much Ebola is getting spread by installing these engines in affected communities. Because Black Lives Matter. It's just common sense. I'd really like to prototype my design, but I lack the time, energy, or resources at the moment. If you'd like to build it, inspired by my concept, I'd really appreciate a credit. You don't need to credit the AI, but I did use AI for the logistics of converting solar heat into electricity. No AI was used to write or record this video, but I did use Brave Search Assistant for help with the design work. Think of it as like a calculator that wouldn't have answered boobs unless you put in what is 4,002.5 times 2. See, I was inspired by Nighthawk in Light and saw a potential application for his compound parabola. Then Brave Search Assistant suggested a Stirling engine. From there, I suggested a gravity battery for storing the kinetic energy, and Brave Search Assistant suggested a dynamo for converting the gravitational potential energy into electromagnetic energy. I only have a high school diploma, I've never been to college, and I'm 26. So please put an asterisk on everything scientific I say. Do your own research if you can help it. I know in second grade they said I had an IQ of 141, but IQ is a scam. You can't test somebody's survivability with these things. Take a hunter-gatherer from the Neanderthal period and put them in front of this test. They will get a low IQ, but if you take a high IQ individual relative to that test and put them in their situation, they would likely flounder and die immediately. Anyways, remember,